But like we said, we are starting things off this morning with Mr. Matt Snyder, who's out live across the street broadcasting from Tim Hortons. When you grab a cup of coffee this morning, you can make a difference if you stop by your local Tim Hortons store. Camp Day will help thousands of children attend summer camp this summer. Last year alone, the day raised an incredible $11.8 million for the Tim Hortons Children's Foundation. And like we said before, Matt Snyder is broadcasting live from our neighborhood store, and he's going to tell us much, much more this morning.
Thank you for that great intro, Lauren. I should have taken your coffee order when I left. I'll guess that you're a double kind of person. We're here with Sahil Ahuja. You are the owner of 8 different branches of Tim Hortons. We're kind of talking about Camp Day, and I think people are going to know it's Camp Day from the ribbons, the bright-colored T-shirts, and there's a lot of activity going on outside. So catch us up to speed a little bit about what Camp Day is.
Well, Camp Day, we try to take donations from guests, and we actually donate our coffee sales to camp to send children from all over U.S. and Canada and give them an experience at camp. Right now, at all our locations, we're doing some kind of event. Pretty much any Tim Hortons that you go to today will have something going on. At this location, we have 3 events outside.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking with the Vice President of U.S. Tim Hortons branch in a little bit about where this proceeds go to. So let's stick with you to talk specific about what some of the locations are doing. So I see some activities outside. What activities do you have today?
Right now, we have a sketch artist. We even have a local policeman helping us out in here. We have a Timbit toss you can win prizes with. We have a dice. You roll a dice and you could win prizes with that as well.
And today's really the day that a lot of people that just sort of pass through the drive-thru are actually coming into the location to have that sort of community feel, right?
Yes, they actually bring their kids along today because we are doing events outside, so it helps us out with that. So even in drive-thru, if you don't have time, you can go to drive-thru still. We have a game in drive-thru as well. But for the most part, we're trying to bring people into the locations.
And for people out there that want to make sure that their morning routine contributes to Camp Day, is there any specific items? You mentioned coffee. Is it just regular coffee?
It's all hot drinks and coffee. So it's mainly coffee from our sales. So if you do come in, make sure you buy coffee.
All right, and what else? What other things are happening at some of your other locations?
One of my other locations is doing get out of jail. So we've actually put an employee in a glass cage, and once they raise a certain amount, then they will let them out. So it says, I'm on bail, please let me out.
And where is that location?
Delaware and Hurdle, right down the street from here.
All right, well, thank you so much, Sahil. And like I said, we're going to be back with the Vice President of the U.S. Division of Tim Hortons to talk a little bit more about what Camp Day means to Tim Hortons. You wouldn't necessarily think the parking lot of Tim Hortons would be full of fun activities, but today is Camp Day, so everything's a little bit different. We are here with Mike Mayer. You are the Executive Vice President of Tim Hortons in the U.S. Now, tell me a little bit about where Camp Day started.
Sure. Camp Day actually started in the mid-'80s. At that time, the foundation only had one camp, and it was a primary vehicle really to raise funds to build a second camp for the foundation.
So let's talk about the foundation, because at its root, this is where all the proceeds go, correct?
Correct. That's absolutely true. The foundation was actually started 40 years ago when Tim passed away, when he was playing here in town with the Buffalo Sabres. One of his goals when he first came into business was to give back to kids that had similar situation to him when he was growing up. So disadvantaged kids living in poverty, it was one of his dreams to give back. So upon his death, as the co-founder of Tim's started the foundation in his honor.
And when we're talking about camp, I know that I was fortunate enough to go to camp several summers, even worked on camp staff. I learned so many great lessons. So is this something that you're trying to carry over?
Absolutely. This camp is about taking kids out of their environment and bringing them to a camp it's more than just a camping experience. It's about building leadership skills. It's about building self-confidence. It's giving them a chance to see other things that are out there in the world and hopefully inspiring them to go on to other things in their life.
And if we're talking about how your cup of coffee benefits children, the numbers are the greatest example of what this really does. So how many kids have you sent to camp so far?
Well, at the end of this year, we'll have sent 200,000 children to camp. This year alone, there'll be 17,000 kids across North America. They'll get a chance for this 10-day camping experience. And more locally, if I look at Western New York, the local owners in this community will send over 300 children to camp this summer alone.
And what are some of the activities that these children at camp are going to get to experience?
Well, there's things, if I take our camp in Campbellsville, Kentucky, there's water sports, there's zip line, it's overcoming their fear of heights potentially. There's a whole bunch of experiences that really focus around building some of those leadership qualities that we spoke of earlier.
Now, we're in our neighborhood location on the Elmwood Strip. Now, when we're talking about where people can go, what they can do to make sure that they're donating to Camp Day, Is it every Tim Hortons, and what can they purchase?
Every Tim Hortons is participating in this, and primarily it's around coffee, and 100% of the proceeds from coffee are donated to the camp. So it's every penny. The owners donate the coffee and everything else involved, and all the proceeds go to the foundation. But if you're not a coffee drinker, you can rent a tent, you can buy a cabin, you can text online, you can go online to send kids to camp. So there's a number of different ways that they can participate. And then a lot of our stores, our restaurants, our team members, the owners locally here are doing different events, as you see behind us, to help raise additional money as well.
Yeah, and if you're looking right behind us, there is a dice toss. You can throw a Timbit into a cup to win free prizes. So those are other great ways to donate. Now, for people who want a little bit more information on Camp Day, is there a website or a Facebook they can check out?
Absolutely. The foundation is online. You can get to it through timhortonsusa.com. You can also, there's a Facebook page and also a Twitter account as well. So there's a whole bunch of ways that you can get information on the camp.
All right, well, thank you so much, Mike.
Very much.
There's nothing like a cup of coffee to kickstart your day, and hopefully that cup of coffee can kickstart some child in need's life and success.